Normally when I make videos like this, there aren't a lot of games for you to play at the time. There's usually a bit of a dry spell. That's not the case right now. There's great games like Monster Hunter Rise. There's Bowser's Fury. Some people like Immortals Phoenix Rising for some reason. But it's been a while since we've talked about cheap games you can get on the eShop if you want to play something new and don't want to drop a whole $60 on one. And there's a lot of great stuff out there since the last time we talked about this stuff. Stuff that you'll have a lot of fun playing without breaking the bank. Yeah.
It's really enjoyable to use, mainly because of that display. Where
I
think
hate
they nailed
it
it for this price. It's nearly the same size as the Pro, 6.55 inches. And
Oh.
it's great. It's
Oh, how did he get that shot? This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. This is not a drill. MKBHD has a class on Skillshare. Skillshare has great in-depth classes on all aspects of graphic design, animation, photography, film and video, and so much more. But if you ever wanted an all-in-one crash course on YouTube, there's nobody better to give it to you than this guy. And then from there, you can go more in depth on the other stuff. Skillshare is designed specifically for learning with no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes. So there's always something fresh for you to learn. And it's less than $10 a month for an annual subscription. Right now, the first 1,000 of you who click the link in the description below will get a free trial to Skillshare's premium membership. So you can just try it for yourself and see how you like it. Or at the very least, if you just want to watch this one video, there's a free trial at the link in the description below. So go on over there and start learning. I mean, this would look sick if it was a phone. So after taking a dive through the eShop, I settled on a couple of parameters for this video. I really wanted to do games under $10, but I also really wanted to do recent games in case there's something that recently came out that you might have missed. And there's a lot of videos like this, so I think being topical is probably more important to you. Bringing the price up to $20 really helped me include a lot more great recent stuff. I think the oldest game that I have on this list is from back in September, so I tried. I'm gonna do this in order from cheapest to $20. The cheapest game on this list is Apex Legends. You don't even need a Nintendo Switch Online subscription in order to play it. You're ready to go the second you download it and finish the mandatory tutorial. If you somehow haven't heard of Apex Legends by now, it's a battle royale set in the Titanfall universe. So it's you and a squad of 2 other people versus 20 other teams, last squad standing. Is it the best place to play Apex Legends? Absolutely not.
Okay, I can't explain.
Look at the shadow, beautiful shadows in this game.
Yeah, lighting effects, textures, anti-aliasing.
This just didn't load in for me. It looks rough. Motion controls do help. I'm sure you could learn to master it. Oh my god, I'm trash.
Come on, I'm
oh
trash.
My god!
I'm gonna back up because we have 2 different squads, I think.
I'm trying to use motion controls.
Is it
Is
working
on your
okay
side,
for you or
Wood?
no?
It's working all right.
Hold on.
Oh my god, this is horrible. This is horrible. I need a clip of it. Wait, on where? Far out.
Over here.
This is unbelievable.
He's
Oh,
running.
frames.
He's taking off.
Oh, frames. Frames,
God,
are
I'm
you
trash. Look, admittedly, if you have any other means of playing Apex Legends, you should probably just play it there. But if this is all you've got, or maybe you're out and about and you still want to squat up with the boys, it's still a great time on the Switch. Just not as good of a time as on other consoles. Let's not talk about that Metacritic score. That's a bit harsh, guys. Come on. Throughout this, I've been showing clips of a live stream that I did with Misclick and Beat 'em Ups where we played Apex Legends. So if you want to see more of that, you can go over to the Wulff Den Clips channel. I'll leave a card right here for you. Pac-Man 99 was literally just announced on Tuesday and then released on Wednesday. People are all mad at it because they think that that is the reason why Nintendo took Super Mario 35 out back and shot it in the back of the head. But I can't imagine that being the case. I just think they held Pac-Man 99 until after Super Mario 35 was finished. But anyway, it is wild. It has a very similar formula to Tetris 99, but instead of Tetris 99, you did a lot of acid and decided to play Pac-Man. There is a lot going on screen, and the game doesn't really tell you anything. You just kind of gotta figure it out. Luckily, we've all played Pac-Man before. It's pretty straightforward. Eat everything unless it hurts you. Just like how I live my life. The Tetris 99 formula works well here. Instead of flinging Tetramino trash to your opponents, you fling a jammer Pac-Man, which slows down your opponent, making them easy targets for ghosts. It's a chaotic mess and a lucid fever dream, but it's a lot of fun. This does require a Nintendo Switch Online subscription in order to play though, so it's not exactly free, but it's pretty close to it. And it doesn't have a Metacritic score yet because it's too new. Okay, this one's a little bit of cheating, but it's my list and I'll do whatever the I want. Y'all aren't playing enough of the Super Nintendo and NES games that come included with Switch Online, and I'm mad at you about it. Some of the best games on the Switch are included in that NES and SNES collection. Recently, they added not one, not two, but 3 whole-ass Donkey Kong Country games. I'll be honest, Nintendo has been lacking with the retro game drops recently, but you'd be lying if you told me you've played every single one of these games. Did you play Kirby's Dream Course? You should be locked up if you haven't played Kirby's Dream Course. It has online multiplayer. They all have online multiplayer. Okay, this one is mostly on this list because it's only $2. I take that back. This one is only on this list because it's only $2. Jiffy is a 2D platformer that takes a lot of inspiration from Downwell. You have one button, it makes you jump, it shoots downwards, and it also gives you extra airtime. It's not the best $2 that I've spent on the Switch. That would go to Doggerai. But Jiffy retails at just $2. The physics are a bit weird. The menu pissed me off because you have to go right to go down. But it's $2. There's at least $2 of fun to be had here. It has no Metacritic score because I'm literally the only one who's ever played this game. Time UFO is a charming physics-based puzzle game developed by HAL Laboratories, which you might know as being a longtime Nintendo developer. You know, Kirby and Kirby. And the beginning of Smash Brothers, the little dog with the egg. This title was originally released for mobile, but was published by Nintendo for the Switch release. You play a little UFO who's picking up odd jobs that mostly involve moving and stacking stuff. Of course it's more than that, it's all sorts of weird. Help out on a Greek construction site? There's also multiplayer and a sort of adventure mode. It's currently just $8.99 and has a Metacritic score of 78. Hotshot Racing is awesome. I'm doing the snap. Okay, dude. It was definitely the most surprising game on this list, and I hadn't even heard about it until I started making this list. I was not expecting to have as much fun with it as I did. It's a racing game inspired by what I'll call dawn of 3D racing games, like Virtual Racer. Visually, it's absolutely gorgeous. Mechanically, it feels really good too. There's drifting and boosting similar to Burnout. I just wish it had the same sort of takedown system that I love so much. But slamming cars into other cars can slow them down significantly, and I'd imagine they wanted this game to be more of a racing game and less of a battle game. One small little detail that stood out to me is each character has their own little victory cutscenes after you finish the Grand Prix with them. I don't want to spoil it by giving it away here, but I love that sort of stuff. It reminds me of when I used to beat the story mode with every Smash character just to see the congratulations screen that would come up.
Congratulations!
It's such a great little detail. There is online multiplayer, but unfortunately there aren't enough active players to find any matches. You can get some friends together and do it privately though. It's normally $20, but it's currently on sale for just $11.99, and it's totally worth it. The 76 on Metacritic does not do it justice. If you're a fan of games like Stardew Valley, you might be interested in a little game called called Littlewood that just launched on the Nintendo Switch. It has an interesting premise. You just saved the town from some big overarching threat, and now you have to help rebuild it. There is a lot of building to be done and a lot of stats to level up. This is definitely a game for RPG nerds, if you're looking for a cute, relaxing game to suck all of the time out of your life. I'll be honest, I saw these menus and my brain just turned into mush. This is not the game for me. But it seems to have made a splash on the Switch recently. It's just $14.99 and has a Metacritic score of 81, which is actually the highest on this list. You'll understandably have to take this one with a grain of salt for two reasons. One, I just did an ad for them. Working together as a team, instinctively, intelligently, instantly. You guys all right? I was here first, and then you guys just came. And two, I'm very biased towards this era of Star Wars games. I loved Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy, which are also currently available on the eShop for very cheap. But just this week, they released Republic Commando. When it was originally released back in 2005, I was a huge Star Wars fan, particularly the games. I was also big into tactical shooters like Rainbow Six and SWAT 4, so I was so stoked to play a Star Wars version of that. But it was only out on Xbox and PC, so I never got a chance to play it. Honestly, I don't know if I knew it was available on PC. Anyway, now it's on the Switch, and it's awesome. Keep in mind, it is a game that came out in 2005. So you need to at least be familiar with games of the time. If you were born in 2005, you're probably not going to think that it aged well. You're going to need to take a second to tweak the controls to modern standards. I personally think it plays great, and it has this really cool, gritty, military feel we haven't seen in a Star Wars game before. You're basically a squad of Republic soldiers doing drug busts. It's sick. I definitely think it's worth $14.99. The old version has a Metacritic score of 78, but that was back in 2005. I'll say again, only get this if you're down with playing a game from 2005. The Scott Pilgrim game originally launched alongside the movie, but was more closely related to the comics than the movie, so it wasn't really a movie game. It was beloved by fans back then and stuck in licensing limbo ever since, but has finally launched on the Nintendo Switch. I'll be honest, I played it for like 2 seconds back in 2010 and then haven't touched it since. But Will over here is a big fan and has recently played it. So I'm gonna take a little coffee break and I'll let him do a lot of the talking for that.
Also, it's Will's birthday today, so go over to his Twitter account right there and wish Papa Will a happy birthday.
It truly is amazing that everything associated with Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim series is exceptionally excellent. Of course, there is the original comic book series that started it all, which is great. There's the movie by Edgar Wright, which is also great. And perhaps most miraculously, it's also a video game that is great. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game originally released back in 2010 and recently became available again this past January after years of being unavailable. On the surface, this game is very similar to old school beat-em-ups like Double Dragon or Final Fight. Up to 4 players pick their character and roam through the streets of Toronto, beating up hipsters and taking on the 7 evil exes of Ramona Flowers. Each character has their own unique moveset and advantages over the other characters. They can pick up weapons that are on the ground, perform co-op moves, and even call upon Knives Chow to do a screen-clearing super move. The game even has a retro-inspired art style, a fantastic chiptune soundtrack by Anna Monoguchi, and is littered with references to gaming's past. So far, so standard, but what sets Scott Pilgrim apart from similar games in the genre are the RPG elements added to it. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not Final Fantasy or Mass Effect or anything like that, but there is a simple leveling up mechanic in the game that helps you grow and progress throughout. It allows you to unlock new moves and abilities and helps you get through previously tough spots with relative ease. Add to this the shops that you can find throughout the game, which sell you items to increase your health, your gut points, or even increase the different attributes of your character. It's this little extra that adds some replay value to it and to help differentiate it from its early 90s influences to really make it feel like a true 21st century game. It's admittedly a much slower game than something like Streets of Rage or Turtles in Time, but I feel like that's deliberate. It wants you to experience the story of Scott Pilgrim much like you would experience it through the comics or the movie. It wants you to feel like an active participant in this world, and it wants you to grow and evolve the same way Scott does in the source material. As mentioned earlier, this game was delisted from all digital storefronts back in 2014 and only recently became available to play on modern consoles. We're living in a time where Sony is shutting down its PlayStation 3 and Vita stores, and Nintendo is actively removing games from its biggest franchise from circulation. Right now, more people than ever are aware of the fact, whether right or wrong, buying games digitally is a shockingly finite thing. So before it's too late, get your hands on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It's available on all major platforms right now. Buy it on every platform you can just to make sure you have access to it. But definitely buy it on the Switch, because then you can play it on the toilet.
I saved my favorite one for last, and that's Cyber Shadow. I was very stoked to play this game ever since I played it for the first time at PAX a few years ago, and I played the shit out of it when it finally launched earlier this year. It's such a good 2D side-scroller. It's pretty difficult as far as 2D games go, but I personally think it's fair because checkpoints are pretty liberal. You can spawn right back in pretty quickly. It takes a lot of inspiration from the NES Ninja Gaiden games, but I don't know if you've played those games recently, but those games are bullshit. Cyber Shadow adds a lot to the formula. Almost every chapter gives you an upgraded ability, so throughout the game you gain mechanics you can chain together. By the end, you feel like a god. It's my favorite game of the year so far, for sure. I highly recommend this to anybody looking for a new 2D platformer to try out. Just make sure you're prepared for the difficulty. It's currently $20 on the eShop and has a Metacritic score of 81, right up there with Littlewood. Now, inevitably, when I bring up Cyber Shadow, somebody will mention The Messenger, which is also a Ninja Gaiden-inspired indie game for the Nintendo Switch for just $20. So, if you could only play one of those games, you should probably make it... What's going on out there? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, there's a few honorable mentions here that didn't quite make the cut, but I'll put in a little montage here for you and explain why they didn't make the cut. Capcom Arcade is free to play, but you can only play 1943. You have to buy the other games in packs, and most people are probably getting this for the Street Fighter games, which are available on the Switch in other ways. Blue Fire is a game I was excited for. It looked like a cool GameCube-style platformer. I think the movement was clunky, and the game doesn't f***ing tell you that buying emotes is the checkpoint system. Ghostrunner is another game I was excited for. I played it at PAX very briefly and had a good time with it then. On the Switch, it looks a little rough, and the AI, for whatever reason, is just hot garbage. On the very first level, they will shoot you out of your dash. If they spot you once, they will always know where you are, even after you respawn. But it's only $8 now. Stick Fight might be a good party game to play with your friends, but it's only multiplayer and the online isn't great. There's just not enough people playing it, and the ones that do are like asleep at the wheel. Personally, I think you're much better off playing Duck Game. CARRION is awesome, and the only reason it didn't get a spot on this list is because it came out in July and it missed my arbitrary cutoff. But go check that out. And that's it for my best of recent eShop games for under $20. Is there anything here that you've played that you think is really good and you want to give your 2 cents on? Is there anything here that I left out? I'm sure there is. I always do, and people get mad about it. Just leave your vitriol in the comments below, or at me on Twitter or any and all this other social media garbage. I tried to leave cards throughout this video, and I'll put some links in the description, and I'll put some stuff on the end slate. But you might have seen some footage of me live streaming some of these games. I do that over on twitch.tv/Wulffden, but if you don't want to go to Twitch, I upload short little bite-sized clips over on Wulffden Clips, the YouTube channel, and I'll link some of those videos there if you want to see more of games like Apex Legends or Cyber Shadow. I have a whole playlist of that whole game. I didn't upload my playthrough of Blue Fire because I just on the game the whole time and I felt really bad about it. But anyway, thank you for watching this much of the video. And the most important thing that you can do to help support us is just subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. And share this video with a friend who has a Switch and is maybe looking for some more games to play. Maybe they don't have enough going on right now. Thank you very much. You have yourself a good week and give Papa a little kiss on the mouth.